Catholic Church. I am presiding in the absence of Ms. Snowden this afternoon due to death in the family. We do extend our condolences and ask that each of you keep her and the family in your prayers and thoughts. At this time, Father Emmanuel Williams.
Let us pray. Good and gracious God, we are so grateful for many blessings. We thank you for the gift of this new year of grace. We thank you for the gift of life and the measure of health that we each enjoy. We thank you in a most special way for the thousands of young people who have been entrusted to our care. Give us the strength it takes to listen hard and well rather than to judge easily and quickly. Give us the courage to trust rather than to fear. Give us the zeal to try over and over and over again, even when our best efforts fall short of lofty goals. We ask, O God, for the grace to always be our best selves, to be builders of this community, so that the children and the families we serve may more easily reach their fullest educational and human potential. Because of your goodness and your mercy to us in the past, we confidently place these prayers and all the prayers that sit quietly in each of our hearts in your loving hands. Let all God's people say, Amen.
Thank you, Father
And I
Emmanuel.
would like to add that it's not pastor.
One more after that. We do have a quorum in place. At this time, do we have a motion to accept the revised agenda as printed?
Mr. Vice President, I move that we adopt the agenda, the revised agenda as printed.
All those in favor? Let's see by show of hands. Those opposed, same. First item on the agenda is to schedule public comments. I must first read the rules and procedures for public participation in board meetings. Public comments. Requests must be made in advance in writing to the superintendent's office by 4:30 p.m. on the Tuesday preceding the meeting date. Requests must have specified the nature of the business to be taken up with the board and the name of the person who will address the board to be added to the agenda. Communications must be respectful. Discussing specific student or employee matters will not be allowed. Individuals who have concerns that are inappropriate to be solved in this venue are welcome to seek a problem-solving meeting with the superintendent. Immediate feedback by the board may not be provided. However, you may be contacted to follow up by the superintendent or designated. Public comments may not exceed 5 minutes. The board chairman has full authority to terminate the remarks of any person whose comments contain personal attacks, exceed the time limit, or otherwise inappropriate. A speaker may be considered disruptive who continues to speak when their allotted time has ended, when asked to stop speaking by the board chair, or otherwise is inappropriate. If a person fails to comply when asked to terminate comments, he or she will be escorted to their seat, out of the auditorium, and or off MPS property, depending on the level of disruption. The first individual that we have here for scheduled public comments is Ms. Rose Bethune, Grievance of a Class A violation. I know I skipped it.
With what you just said regarding specific situations, you mean that I can't say the name of teachers?
No, you can't discuss a specific student or employee. You can't use the names, but
So I
You
can
can
discuss
talk
the
about the
situation.
The situation.
Just
Yes.
don't say name.
Right.
Okay. Hi, my name is Rhoda Bethune. I'm the mother of a student, I can say a school.
Yes.
Okay. Of a sixth grade student in Floyd Middle Magnet School. My son has been in the Montgomery Public School system for his entire academic life, and my experience with the system has been fairly decent to this school year. My experience with Floyd Middle Magnet School has been very disappointing thus far. It appears that MPS is systematically failing my son. I have attempted to address my concerns with the teachers, principals, and board members, but I continue to have concerns. A brief summary and some examples of my concerns are the following. First, in October of 2015, my son was accused of cheating on a test and was given an F by his teacher. And the teacher and the principal referred to this as a Class A violation. After some exchanges with the teacher and principal, the initial accusation of cheating was changed to not following directions, as the teacher acknowledged that she did not see him cheating, but that he had not followed directions. The same teacher also accused 2 children of cheating for not following directions on the same test, but she did not give them an F. After several emails, meetings, and phone conversations, a meeting was held with the principal and someone from administration. We were finally able to address the multiple discrepancies in the teacher's version of what took place. This meeting took place in December of 2015, 2 months after the alleged incident took place. During that meeting, it was decided that my son would retake the test, which is what he had asked for from the very beginning, what we had asked for, excuse me, from the very beginning. On the following day, the principal called me and apologized. He also reinstated his original grade. He said he had spoken with the teacher and that her version of the incident has changed several times. Summarily, I was never able to get a clear definition of what a Class A violation is and the policies that describe how these violations are to be addressed by educators. It was obvious that the 2 identical incidents were treated differently, which indicates a clear bias towards my son. The time it took to resolve this issue, resulting in stress and uncertainty, as well as time away from work, is problematic, as it would be for any parent. Secondly, my son's math teacher does not communicate with me efficiently. I had several conferences and repeatedly asked her to work with me on improving our communication in order to help my son be successful in her class. Sometimes she does not respond to my emails. Sometimes she will not answer all my questions. Additionally, she makes decisions that appear that she wants my son to be unsuccessful. For example, in December 2015, he was taking a test in her class, and mysteriously, he was the only student whose username and password information card was missing. He spent 25 to 30 minutes of time out of the classroom because she sent him to retrieve his password. This was time that the other students had to take the test. As well as on January 14, 2016, she gave him a math test upon returning to school after he missed 3 days of school with the flu. I informed her that he was not prepared for the test. She refused to allow him to prepare for the test and retake it. The principal also supported her in this decision. I consulted with teachers who work in the public school system, and it appears that some follow what is called best practice standards, which would require an assessment by the teacher to determine if the child is ready for testing after being away.
1 minute.
Okay. And give that child an opportunity to be prepared, because common sense tells you that if he's missed some time away from class, that he is not prepared, he has not had the lecture and practice that the other children have, which puts him on uneven playing field. Summarily, this teacher appears to want my child to fail while constantly giving lip service about wanting to help him succeed. Lastly, my son has been diagnosed with ADD. We met with the principal, my son's teachers, and the guidance counselor to discuss him being placed on a 504 plan. They concluded that his symptoms were not negatively impacting his performance at this time, and that they were doing all the things they would to provide accommodations. They said the issue could be revisited upon an updated medical evaluation. My plan is to revisit and hope that the school staff is more amenable to making the requested accommodations. During our last meeting.
Thank you, time.
Thank you. Ms. Bethune, I'm sure the superintendent will address you.
I have something to say, please. And let me tell you this. I have
Yes, sir.
Ms. Bethune, I'm Lisa Keith. That's another one. I'm sorry, I'm late. It's the first time I've been late here, but are you the one that's contacted me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, I just wanted to point out that the fact that you had to come here and stand up before the public and the board, I commend you for that. And I hope, I have tried, I've written you back and forth several times. I'm one person, and I hope you get the help that you need.
Thank you so much.
Next on the scheduled public comments, we have Ms. Mary Armstrong, grading practices and grading fairness in regards to a class violation and policies and procedures.
I'm Mary Ann Armstrong, and I'm addressing the same student's situation. I'm the student's great aunt. In addition to that, I'm a licensed certified social worker with more than 30 years of experience working with families and children. I've been involved in this situation via attending meetings with the school staff along with Ms. Bethune regarding the student situation. Additionally, I come from a family of educators and public servants, and we value education. Public education is students and administration. My observations were as follows. The system's approach appears to be more authoritarian than participatory, and the need for discipline is addressed with punitive actions, a penalty, rather than a need to teach a child to solve problems, manage behavior, learn from their mistakes, etc. And this was the case with this student. You tell students, I know I've been there and I have told students that, or you tell parents of students that their involvement is welcome, but oftentimes these parents feel inferior and intimidated. The desire to support the teacher in this situation prevented the principal from conducting an in-depth investigation from the beginning, which resulted in a great deal of time being wasted and a lot of stress and uncertainty for this single hard-working parent. We were able, though, to resolve the matter favorably only because of the persistence of this parent. And she was able to be persistent because of the support that she received from her family. What about those young parents and students who are not as fortunate? Number two, there appears to be a lack of policies and procedures in place that specifically define school and classroom violations and actions to be taken by teachers and administration to address them. And this results in non-uniformity and disparate treatment of students. If students are to be held accountable, then teachers and administrators should also. If we don't have clear and defined policies that both parents and students are informed about, then parents won't know how to help their children be compliant. Finally, if a student qualifies for the magnet program, they have already shown some ability to be successful. So it makes perfect sense to me that if the system provides what is needed, more often than not, students will be successful. I don't know what the attrition rate is for the magnet program, but my experience in administration tells me that when a student fails, there should be an evaluation of all of the above, the student, the system, etc. And there should be an effort to address the needs of everybody concerned, the students, the teachers, administration, so that the student is successful and the program is successful.
Mayor, before you leave, I thought, unless things have changed, Mayor, that at the beginning of each school year, you get a policy and procedure handbook, and the parent has to sign as well as the student.
That's correct.
So
That's not my
you're saying-
complaint.
Okay, but you're saying our policies and
I'm saying
procedures are
that the
different.
policy is lacking, and I'm glad you asked the question,
Okay.
so that we can explain it.
Okay.
Ms. Bethune asked over and over again for a definition and examples of what a Class A violation is. Okay, and
That's in the code.
I thought that's how it's handled. I thought
It's in there.
and how these violations are addressed.
In this particular classroom, and I understand that. The policy book is divided into class A, B, C, so there are examples in there. But I understand where you're coming from in that you wanted to know in this particular teacher's classroom how she was applying the book, yeah, for class A
And why is
specifically.
it different, you know? It could be a good reason, but I think that the policy is lacking, not that you don't have policy. You do have policy, I know you do. But that it could be clearer, there could be clear definitions of what those violations are and how they are addressed. And that there should, if you have that, then you won't have the discretion left up to the teacher or the principal or whomever to say that this is a Class A violation or this is a class, that it would be specific and definite
And how it's graded.
and how it is addressed. I think the main concern here was how it is addressed. The policy needs to go as far as saying, if this is done, an example of this is done, then this is how it is addressed.
I said, I understand what you're saying.
Do you understand?
Yeah, and I get it, Ms. Armstrong, and thank you for being as clear as you were in your presentation to us.
Thank you. I have a copy.
Okay, thank you.
I thank y'all.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would like to,
Okay.
Ms. Armstrong, 3 words, job well done.
Thank you very
And
much.
I want to encourage any other parent that's sitting out there, your persistence is exemplary, and that's what it's going to take for people to listen, is not only parents to be persistent, teachers to be persistent, administrators to be persistent, as some of the board members up here. Thank you.
And I ask that we encourage our young parents. I'm an old person, and I just like to encourage young people to be parents, and we set the example. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next individual scheduled public comments, Ms. Victoria Reese, NEA MINDUP grant.
To the superintendent, acting chair, Mr. Porterfield, board members. I am Victoria Reese, president of Montgomery County Education Association, and I stand alone with my middle school representative at large, Ms. Carrie Patrick. And it's with great delight that we present the MINDUP grant to South Lawn Middle School. This initiative is in partnership with the National Education Association's Priority Schools, NEA Healthy Futures, and MCA. During my tenure as president, it is my hope that we touch the lives of our local educators, children, and parents through programs that provide a better understanding of cultural competence and building community partnerships with stakeholders. Founder Goldie Hawn collaborated with neuroscientists, cognitive psychologists, and educators to create MINDUP, a program that fosters a classroom learning environment where a child's ability to academically succeed and personally thrive is maximized and directly linked to their overall state of well-being. MINDUP has been proven to reduce stress, improve academic performance, strengthen abilities for concentration, and help children and educators thrive in a setting that becomes a community of learners. Please take a look at the packet that I gave you. You'll see a list of the different school districts and schools who have been impacted by the MINDUP grant. South Lawn would actually be the first school in the state of Alabama to implement this opportunity. The implementation of this grant will begin this February. We will start with a soft launch and will roll out throughout the 2016-2017 school year. Mr. Shelby, to my right, will serve as a school-wide coordinator, and we will work as a partner with him to make sure that everything falls in place. And Mr. Vaughn would work as the lead. He's out ill this evening. But we do want to honor them and thank them for their drive to want to help those children at South Lawn. Is just awesome. A great need of cultural competence is needed in our district. I know I've heard that numerous times in meetings that we've had. So I think that this would be a great piece and something that we can look at as a district after we see how South Lawn serve as a model for us. So, in great pleasure and honor, I present a $9,000 grant for the implementation of MINDUP.
Thank you very much there, Mrs. Reese. Certainly we understand that funding is always critical and needed, and we appreciate all that you do and your support and dedication to public education.
And that is being done by Montgomery County Education
Yes,
Association.
but we work very hard with priority schools as well as Healthy Futures. All of us, the three of us, work very hard to try to get this.
Very good.
And we appreciate it.
Would you be willing to take it?
Oh, I have no problem. I I'm running already. Thank you. Appreciate it. That completes our list on the scheduled public comments. We do have one that signed up for the citizens' comment. I must read again the rules and procedures for public participation in board meetings. Citizens' comments. Citizens may sign up for comment before a board meeting. Citizens' comments must be on agenda items. Forms of citizen comments will be available 30 minutes before regularly scheduled board meetings. Agenda topics to be addressed must be identified on the form in order to speak. Individual citizen comments may not exceed 3 minutes. A total of 30 minutes are allowed for all citizen comments. Communications must be respectful. Discussing specific student or employee matters will not be allowed. Individuals who have concerns that are inappropriate to be resolved in this venue are welcome to seek a problem-solving meeting with the superintendent. Immediate feedback by the board may not be provided. However, you may be contacted for follow-up by the superintendent or designee. The board chair has full authority to terminate the remarks of any person whose comments contain personal attacks, exceed the time limit, or are otherwise inappropriate. A speaker may be considered disruptive who continues to speak when the allotted time has ended, when asked to stop speaking by the board chair, or is otherwise inappropriate. If a person fails to comply when asked to terminate comments, he or she will be escorted to the seat of the auditorium and or off MPS property, depending on the level of disruption. The board reserves the right to remove all disruptive visitors from meetings. A copy of the procedures for the Montgomery County Board of Education is available online at www.mps.k12.al.us. Thank you for your participation in our meeting. The individual who has signed up is Ms. Michelle Broder, our children.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I don't know what Ms. K.T. Brown was gonna say, but I'm just gonna comment on our children. And I come bringing greetings, congratulations, 2 more years, whoop, whoop. And also, I just wanted to say that I'm very happy to introduce I Am More Than, which is a youth organization here in Montgomery. We've been working with the kids for the past 5 years, and it has just elevated to the point where now we're getting ready to travel with our program, and this will be our last year in Montgomery, but Montgomery is always home. And I wanted to extend, this year we have for Black History as well as for the 51st anniversary of the Selma to Montgomery March, we have some people that are coming here, and the people are national sponsors. We have Rock the Boat, who will be here. I don't know if you all are familiar with Rock the Boat, but they're coming. We have the Truth Campaign, which is to try to get young people to stop smoking. They'll be here. And we have, oh my gosh, we have so many people that are coming to Montgomery to offer a program where your students will be able to win shoes from skits.com. There's a young lady, she's age 22 years old, she goes to Michigan University, and she started a company. She will be here coming to Montgomery. She wants to talk to our students about being entrepreneurs, about art, and how you can use your art, your gift, and your talent to make a living. So she will be here, and her company, which is skits.com, would like to offer the Montgomery County school system free shoes for your students to get them geared up to stay in school, and not just stay in school, but become entrepreneurs. And so we wanted to offer an essay program during the Black History Month to 8 schools is what they're willing to do. And we would hope that you all would take advantage of it because, of course, you're going to get shoes with that. But their schools, their shoes with colleges, the college of their choice. And these shoes will empower them to, once they graduate, go on to school. So our program this year is, our program this year is Truth Be Told, Put Yourself in Their Shoes. And it's gonna be a wonderful thing, and I hope that you all can be a part of it. And we have Samuel Davis Jr. that's coming, an impersonator, Eartha Kitt that's coming. We have Stars of Freedom that will come and teach your kids, not only teach them, but they're gonna teach them through song, and tell them the importance of the 51st anniversary of the Montgomery bus boycott. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So we wanted to just offer the, before we leave Montgomery, we wanted to offer it to you all as our way to say, we love our children here, and it started here in Montgomery. So,
Michelle,
yes, ma'am.
will you have the same type of tennis shoes that you all had for the bus boycott, the painting and
Yes.
designs?
Yes, ma'am. That will be on exhibit as well, and the event is March 4th. And we have a national sponsor and an artist, a famed artist, that they represent Mary J. Blige and all of these other people. Well, they designed a special shoe for us this year, and it's called They Did It For The Kids, and they will be unveiled on that night as well. So.
Well, thank you very much. And we,
Thank you.
Again, we appreciate your support for public education.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Our next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report.
Okay. Good afternoon again. I want to begin with acknowledgements, acknowledging school board, community, and staff that are present here this afternoon. Want to offer a commendation to our school board. This is National School Board Appreciation Month. And we appreciate you. And let's give them a big round of applause. That specifically is for the time that each of you put into being here and being engaged for the district. We appreciate it. That's exactly what board members do. And we're happy that you are on board in doing that. My reports tonight will be in regard to the magnet enrollment process. I'm just going to give you an update on that. And the other is going to be a little bit of a pre-legislative update, one that is coming from the State Board of Education, and one that is a part of the Montgomery Area Chamber of Commerce's plan for state legislative agenda. In regard to the magnet program, just want to say that the application process opened Monday and it closes on February 26th. The criteria was the same as the 2015. A difference was specifying conduct and just saying that each school would receive good conduct. It was specified as a B or mainly Bs, and that was just some schools. Most of the schools already had the specifics. The 2016 process is requiring more school-based support this year than last, and continuing with central office monitoring. The accountability exists for both the school board and the central staff levels. The district does have a magnet equity committee that is made up of community, parent, and staff stakeholders. We met in December and we'll meet again in the spring. The objectives of that committee these were some of them: to look at the magnet program's purpose and focus and try to make sure that the criteria matched the purpose. Another objective was to ensure that there was an alignment between programs as it relates to themes and grade point averages. A third purpose was in regard to seeking an expansion of themes that could actually go across traditional schools. And lastly, to refocus on ensuring quality in both the magnets, and even as we had that magnet equity committee, the work that was done applied across the board to even some traditional situations. So that was a good thing for us. In regard to legislative updates, Dr. Bice had an opportunity to talk with superintendents this week by WebEx and inform us about some budget priorities. And you have a copy of those, and they're pretty similar to last year's. They will be focusing on transportation again. You know, all over the state, the idea is to try to get a fully funded transportation foundation support. And so Dr. Bice is going to be presenting a 3-year plan to see if we can get that moving. They will have a 2-year plan to try and reinstate the foundation program in regard to class sizes. I think that will always be a part of the legislative pursuit. Other current expenses, same as last year. We're trying to increase that. We had some real serious issues back since 2008 and have been requesting that if we could just go back to the 2008 level, it would be better than where we are right now. Classroom instructional support, they are going to be trying to get the student materials, technology, library enhancement, textbooks, and all of the common purchase, trying to get that back as a part of what is given to schools. All of that was taken away, and then slowly we've been getting a little bit back at a time to help teachers buy materials for their classrooms. And so they're going to be looking to try to do that again this year. With our virtual school, we use Access from the State Department as a free tool. They are going to try to put a little bit more money into Access as all systems attempt to include some aspect of virtual learning for their students. The State Department is looking to start a merit-based scholarship program to recruit college sophomores into the education prep program for STEM. And so Teach for Alabama will be one of the things that will be a part of their plan. In the past, the State Department has been supportive of induction and mentoring programs for teachers and for administrators. They're going to try that again, try to get funding for induction and mentoring for every first and second year teacher to be provided an induction. And also that they would be assigned a teacher mentor. We do some of that out of our Title II funds, but it will be great if the State Department is able to help support that. One very new thing with the State Department is a concept called professional pathways. This will allow those teachers who don't want to be administrators but do want to be in leadership to apply to be able to do part of their time in classroom and part of their time supporting other teachers in either their school and or the system. National Board Certified Teachers, that funding was here and it went away and now they're trying to get it back. They want to be able to give teachers at least $2,000 in their preparation for becoming National Board Certified, and then the $5,000 stipend, annual stipend. And of course, this great thing, they're trying to get a 5% cost of living adjustment for teachers for 2017. So those are just some of the budget priorities for the State Department of Education. Today, the Chamber announced some, and I just wanted to share what they have in mind of supporting in regard to education. They want to advocate adequate funding for public education at all levels to prepare children and adults for this complex economy and competitive workforce, and I'm thrilled that they're doing that. They want to support the full reporting of academic performance for all educational programs and initiatives. They want to support reform efforts that improve the quality of classroom instruction. And those are just three of the things. And what I wanted to say about that is good to have community entities that are interested in education and willing to say that they're going to be supporting us getting better and better. And I appreciate what the legislative agenda looks like for the Chamber. And on that note, I'm closing out Superintendent's report for this occasion.
Okay, thank you, Superintendent Allen. Certainly, these things that are listed as far as those priorities are concerned, we certainly hope that they will come to, into being. And certainly when you look at, I'm looking back over about 15 years, I don't believe any of the employees have gotten a raise in the last 15 years, as well as we were in probation for 3 years. We really had recouped from the student materials, classroom technology, library enhancement, professional development, textbooks, and common practices. We just hope these things can be.
It hasn't been quite 15 years, Mr.
Well,
Porterfield. I have to correct
you ask the employees, they might say 20. One thing about it, it's been a long time. Yeah. Okay, the next item on the agenda is receivers information, financial report, December 2015, Pam Wooten.
Good afternoon. Today I'm here to present the September through December financial statements of And first, I want to mention that these are preliminary numbers, and I'm saying that because our closeout financial statement, which is September 2015, has not been approved by the State Department. I talked with our county that assigned to our district, and she indicated there was one more district ahead of us, and she'll start reviewing. So these numbers, they can change, but I don't think it'll be a major impact of anything. If anything is changing, I feel like they will be minor. I'm gonna go over September, because that's gonna be the year end, kind of tell us where we ended the year. And then I'm gonna go to December, because that's our current information. If you pull out your September report, as always, I like to provide a graph. It kind of shows you where we're spending our money, because that's the big question that we have, the funds that we receive, how they're actually allocated. If you would notice, for September 2015, we spent 59% on instructional services, and we spent 17% on support instructional services. And those are expenditures that are directly related to our students, where we need the teachers, the counselors, and the principals. So that's a good sign that the majority of the funds we're getting, when we add those together, we 76% of the funds that we're expending goes directly to the classroom. Operating and maintenance is 12%, and that's going to be our safety of the schools and our upkeep of our facilities. Auxiliary, that's our child nutrition program and our transportation. In September 2015, 4% of our expenditures. General admin, that is the, most often that's going to be central office, that's the administration of keeping the district running, and that's at 4% of the expenditures. And the smallest of the two we're going to have is capital outlay, and that's the funds we use to actually do our construction, and it's going to be debt service, and those are the funds that we use to pay our bonds and warrants and our capital outlay that we have with the State Department. And other expenditures, just going to be kind of some miscellaneous things, and other fund uses, pretty much going to be a lot of our transfers in and out, and we don't necessarily like to classify them as expenditures, because really they're going in between departments. So if all goes well at the State Department, they approve our financial statements, we're looking to end September 2015 with $18.6 million, which is very, very close to our 1 month operating reserve. And so we're keeping up, when I say close, with like $3. So we're really hoping that everything goes well, and if not, this is maybe the closest we've gotten. So if nothing else, next year, we really, really hope. It's a long time coming, but
Long time coming.
but to the dedication of the staff and to everybody working really hard to make sure these funds are expended and being good stewards of the funds. So that was really exciting to find out once everything was closed that we were really, really close to our 1 month. And hopefully we can stop one of these state views about that. So that was exciting for my department, of course. And also right now, I want to go to December, and this kind of tells you where we are right now. And what seems to be pretty consistent with Montgomery Public Schools is the way we spend our funds. Almost no matter what month you look at, the percentage is pretty much going to be the same. And if you look at December, we spent 77% of our funds on instructional services, instructional support. Like I say, that's where you want to see all your funds being expended, on the children, on teaching, and on supporting them. And when we say instructional support, those are the principals, the counselors, and assistant principal and librarian. So that's a good sign to show that the funds we are receiving, we are spending on our children. And also we have 12% on operating and maintenance. We have 4% on auxiliary services, 3% on general admin, and 1% on other expenditures, and 3% on other fund uses. And as of right now, our fund balance at the end of December is $18.2 million. Y'all have any questions over the financial report? I have one other law that went into effect that kind of affects our department, so I'm going to talk about that after this. Y'all have any questions about the financial statement? About
The other funds,
there are other funds?
other fund uses, give us a general idea what that is, please.
A lot of times it's going to be like our indirect costs and our pass-through.
Thank you.
And indirect costs is the cost we get from administrating other programs, our federal programs for administering them. We get a min fee for them, and our pass-through is the money that the state provides that we pass through child nutrition for the salaries and raises that they had over the years.
Thank you.
There is a law that came about, and it's called the Truth in Salary Act, and it's Act number 2015-82. And I'm not gonna read the entire act, but I think the first paragraph kind of sums up what we have to do. It states, to require the state of Alabama and local boards of education to provide an annual itemized statement of all employee and retirement benefits received or approved by an employee or retiree from his or her employer, as well as information about total employer contributions to retirement systems and health insurance plans, and in connection wherein would have its purpose or effect the requirement of a new or increased expenditure of local funds within the meaning of the amendment 621 of the Constitution of Alabama 1901, now appearing in section 111.05 of the official compilation of the Constitution of Alabama 1901 as amended. In layman terms, what that says is we have to provide documentation to our employees about, it says beginning in January 2016 and each year thereafter, all schools districts will be required to provide an annual itemized statement of employees' benefits received, as well as information about the total employees' contributions to the retirement system and insurance plans. So our computer software company was already made aware of this, and so what we have done is there is a statement out there, and it says this cannot be used for tax reasons because there's no social security number on it. But the statement, and I'll pass one around. It's just a statement that's printed out, and I'll get with communication where we can send something out by via email. They can get this information the same way they get their check stubs. We're going to put it out on the web, and so it has to be out there by tomorrow. So that was something that went into effect that affects us. And so every year from this day forward, in January, we'll put out an annual statement, and this kind of tells them what their salary is and how much sick leave they have accrued, and their PHIP insurance, and how much they contribute to the retirement system. Okay? Any questions?
You keep on being mean, we like it too much.
All right, receive this information. We have a student social services update by Dr. Margaret Jones.
Good evening. Good evening. I would like to say that today is a continuation of where we left off last week with when we discussed some of the data that Dr. Blair shared from our work session. Dr. Blair, one area that we're really excited about is we're excited about the decreases in some of those undesirable behaviors that we have targeted as a whole with many of our schools through the ASIP. And also we are excited about the increases in attendance for our students, because we do know that when students are in school that they can learn. And within the Office of Learning Supports, we're looking at how we can make sure that the efforts that we're putting in place for our students as well as our parents, and many of these efforts that we have are no cost to our parents and our students. And I would like to introduce you briefly. They're going to stand before you because I can explain to you the work that they do from my office, and I have gone on right along with some of the social workers, but I want them to give you a first-hand narrative. We are, I'd like to say, blessed in MPS to have 4 certified behavior analysts. And in many school districts in the state of Alabama, that does not happen. So we have 4 BCBAs. And in your package, you will see a trajectory of when the district started out with the one BCBA, Ms. Underwood. She's not able to be here with us today. And you'll see the numbers of students that she served alone. And the last trajectory in that chart with the BCBAs, you'll see that those numbers are just for the end of this past school, the end of December 2015. And I want you to see the numbers of students that we've been able to serve just within this past semester with the onset of the 4 BCBAs. It's right, it's on the left. You see the stuff? The district does have a, you see it? The district, no, that's okay. You see? Okay. The district is in a partnership with the Family Sunshine Center, where we are offering trauma-focused therapy to many of our students. You'll see a handout in the packet that details the schools that we are currently servicing, and it's the Lanier pattern, where it's Lanier, Bell, and Grad, and Floyd Elementary School. We would like to explore that option and offering to our parents as well as our students. So we're looking at a no-cost MOA with the Family Sunshine Center to make sure that we provide this vital service to our students. And you'll see some of the successes that have been in place with many of our students who have gone through that trauma-focused counseling. I'm going to ask Ms. Schneller, who is one of our BCBAs, to give you a first-hand account of some of the BCBA services that we provide to our students.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. Good evening.
Good evening.
I am Laura Lynn Schneller, and I am one of 4 board-certified behavior analysts here in Montgomery Public School System. And we serve both our general education and our special education students from preschool all the way through high school. And what we do is we conduct behavioral assessments, which include going into the classrooms, doing some observations, and interviewing the teachers. From there, we assist the teachers in developing a behavior intervention plan, which we will then train on and then help model and implement in the classroom. And then we will continue to follow up on the students and see how they're doing by specifically looking at data that is collected. And all of our decisions are based off of raw data. There are some other things that we also do within the school system. We have an intensive applied behavior analysis pilot program, so we offer some intensive training to teachers in the classrooms for our students diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder and related disabilities. We also offer a summer social skills group, and in the summer we do a lot of teacher trainings and workshops for the teachers. And then lastly, we are part of our PBIS, which is Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports. And basically that is a behavior plan for a school. It's a school-wide behavior plan. And within the last week at our principals meeting, we announced 5 different schools that have really done a great job with implementing the PBIS model within the schools. And those 5 schools were Flowers Elementary, Davis Elementary, Baldwin Arts and Academics Magnet School, Progressive Academy, and Delreta Elementary. And so those teachers will be rewarded for their efforts.
Thank you. Next, I would like to ask Ms. Scythiel to share with some of the services that we provide through the social work services, and then we're going to follow up with Ms. Massey so that she can share insight with you about our Behavior Intervention Center, which is a no-cost counseling program that we do provide to our parents and students.
Good evening. Am I speaking loud enough? Great. This is so off the cuff. She's going to get me, but there are just days as school social workers, you know, when things are just really heavy. We deal with a lot of crises, students that are having challenges, and that's really why we're called in. But it was so interesting today, and I have to smile. I met this little boy. I didn't know what to expect. He had some challenges going on, and what he said to me just blew me away. He said, you know, I have a lot of love and a lot of joy inside of me. And I said, you know what, I'm going to share that with other people today. So I had to do that. But we do have some really, really good successes. Right now the district has 5 social workers, with myself included, and we're basically assigned according to the high school zone. So we are basically providing services in all of our schools. We work to collaborate with students and parents, as well as central office and school personnel, and also community providers as well, to identify and to reduce any barriers to student academic achievement and social emotional learning. We provide services that are not only direct, but we also provide indirect services, and we do those services or provide them in a variety of settings. The services that we provide include assessment, case management, crisis intervention, family support, family education, consultation, and in-service training to staff. And I think you have a handout in your packet, and if you look in the middle section, that section gives you examples of some of the resources that we refer families to within the school district as well as the community. I won't try to name all of them, but particularly if you'll pay attention to the community resources, we are typically working with families to connect them to community-based mental health services, financial assistance programs, shelters. We also provide and refer to parenting education programs, clothes closets, food pantries, just whatever services are needed. And you would be surprised how often we're linking them to those services where just very basic needs need to be addressed. And as far as school resources, I wanted to highlight the school-based mental health services program. We provide the direct link to the school-based psychiatrist. And that individual is right now serving students that attend all, how many schools we have? All 50 plus schools. And that has just been he has been a wonderful resource to us. So if, and I know Dr. Jones will talk more about that, if there's a way that we can continue to have those services going into the new school year, it would be very, very beneficial to our kids and to their families as well. And in looking at the program data, in 2014-15, we had 8 social workers at that time. We served 852 students by linking them to assessment, providing assessments, community resources, case management, crisis intervention, family support, and education, as well as conducting some group interventions. We also served 606 students by providing them with uniforms and school supplies. During the current school year, this data is as of December 31st, 2015. Right now, we're down to 5 social workers, but we have been able to serve 379 students this year with similar services, and we've also served 695 students with uniforms and school supply assistance.
We know that many of the services that we have to provide to our students is for their families as well. And one of the hidden jewels that I think we have in MPS is the Behavior Intervention Center. And Ms. Massey is one of the individuals, and I know Mr. Baker is here as well. They actually work in our Behavior Intervention Center. This center has been around for 13 years. And I think she has been involved with the BIC since its inception. So she's going to briefly provide you with this service that we provide to our parents. And this is a no-cost to our parents and students. This is a no-cost service. And we are going to start really celebrating our students who graduate through their programs because they have stuck with this counseling for 12 and 13 weeks. And I think that we need to really celebrate and acknowledge, because we know that if they stick with these programs and these services, our recidivism rates when it comes to them staying out of school and getting in trouble, it just diminishes drastically.
My name is Ms. Massey, and I am one of the counselors for the Behavior Intervention Center. And again, it's been around about 13 years. There are 8 staff members who participate and provide the service. The Behavior Intervention Center is a center that allows parents and students to come and get free counseling services. There are lots of referrals. Sometimes when the referrals come and parents realize that they have to come too, sometimes that's a barrier. However, if we can get them to come one time, we have them hooked. The thing that also is important is that the sessions might be 9, 10 times. The parents, once they come longer after their time is up. So to me, that is a very rewarding thing. We accept referrals from all Montgomery Public School officials, anyone in the community. We accept referrals anywhere. The way that you make the referral is through email, or if you want to, you can have the parents to just come in. We take walk-ins also. The hours of operations are Mondays and Wednesdays from 4:30 to 6:30. On Wednesdays, the 4:30 to 5:30 group is elementary, and then from 5:30 to 6:30 is the teen group. We flip those on Mondays, and on Mondays at 4:30 the teens come, and 5:30 the elementary group. One of the other things that's important is that when I work with the parents, because I am the person who does the parenting classes for the adults, I use an evidence-based curriculum called a parent project. And when the kids go, they use one called Why Try. Why Try has been probably one of the most successful curriculums that I've run across, mainly because it allows children to make better decisions, their attendance improves, and they learn how to deal with conflict. So those are the programs that we utilize in the BIC. If anyone wants to make a referral, please do so. Make a referral to Danielle Hogan, who is the director. The co-director is Susan Carroll. I just want to give you just a little bit about referrals. In the year 2012 to 2013, there were 325 students referred. We served 231. Those were the amount that came. In 2013 and 14, we had 228 referrals, 170 showed up. Now, the numbers are kind of misleading because if you refer and the identified student comes, it's going to have 3-4 other siblings that come along. Those kids, for the most part, are not counted. We usually just stick to the person who is identified for the service. In 2014 and 15, we had 347. We served 163.
And one important caveat about the BIC is that Mrs. Massey, she told me about one of her students that she had worked with during the counseling. And she said, you know what, Dr. Jones? I had one of my students to tell me that her mother told her for the first time that she loved her. And so we're trying to have these breakthroughs with our students as well as our parents because we want to make sure that they are supported so that they can stay in school. Feel free to contact any of us, and we thank you for supporting our programs so that we can address and identify those barriers to student learning. And some of them are here today. If you can just briefly stand so they can see. We have some BCBAs, some social workers, we have some behavior interventionists. And I thank you for your work, and thank you for your time. Yes, sir.
Let me ask this. Are all parents aware that these services are available for them, or is it just for those children that seem to get themselves in trouble?
We are in the process, and we talked about this last week. That was last week. Last Wednesday, my weeks run together. Last Wednesday, we want to make sure that all of our school personnel, that they are resourced, that they know what's available to them. And one thing that we realized is that some schools knew about the BIC and some of the other resources, but some schools may not have known about those processes. So what we did is last week, we went before all of the administrators and other central office and district personnel, and we shared with them all of the different resources, how to access these resources, how to make sure that parents are aware. We're going to get with Mr. Salter. I spoke with him today, and we're going to collaborate to make sure we have more parental involvement and family engagement so that everybody can invoke the resources that we have available. And we are in the process of trying to garner more funds for some other activities and initiatives that we know that we need to provide to our students.
Thank you.
Yes.
I know probably next item we have here is the consent agenda. We would like to consider for approval. Do we have a motion for the consent agenda?
Mr. Vice President, I move that we adopt item number 8, A, B, and C.
I second.
Just move and second that we approve the consent agenda. There is discussion.
Clarifying, if I'm, when you say adopt A, B, and C, I may agree with A and B, if I don't agree with C. How do I vote on that?
That's it. Consent agenda is put there that you can adopt all of them at one time, but if you wanted one pulled out, you should pull that one out to be voted on. The one that you have.
Because I hate to say no on everything, I'd rather do C separately.
Okay. You can pull it out. I'll accept. your friend amendment, she wants to adopt, approve A and B and discuss C. Is there a second?
We need to, that means then we have to go back and,
She just took care of that.
Can you put it in the meeting?
yeah, why?
I amended my motion to exclude the expulsion report.
Okay.
But most opportune time to do it was to have been at the beginning of the meeting, but you came in late, so we don't have.
She amended her motion.
I amended
That's okay.
mine.
And you need a second.
Okay, those in favor of this A and B, and then separate C, let's see by show of hands. So that's unanimous. So we'll take the A and B under the consent for agenda. Do we have a motion for A and B?
Mr. Vice President, I move that we approve A and B as printed. Second.
It's been moved and second that we consider for
Two seconds, I didn't hear.
Roberta.
I gotta speak to the mic. I can't hear. Thank you.
It's moved and second to approve the consent agenda. Those in favor, see by show of hands. That's unanimous. Now, part C, part of the expulsion report C. We need a motion to approve for the expulsion report.
I just want to abstain when we vote on that. I don't know the students.
I move that we adopt, we approve AC, the expulsion report. Second.
Move in second for the expulsion report. Those in favor, see by show of hands. 4-4. Those are against have abstained.
I'm abstaining.
Well, she abstained. Passes with 4 votes. Next item on the agenda is consider for approval the personnel report. Superintendent.
Yes. Before I make that recommendation, I'd like for you to look at the support personnel minutes, please. Go to S39. Please remove that.
S39.
S39.
It's 35.
39.
Support.
On the support. S39?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I recommend the approval of the personnel report certified and support with the removal of S39.
And the addendum?
And the addendum.
All right.
I did not receive that.
Addendum was placed at your.
That's your desk left side.
Oh, I got that.
Okay.
That's what the other.
Where's
I
the-
have S30.
It should be the one that was mailed, delivered to
We
you.
got.
The one you picked up the other day.
The one that says January 20.
I may have gotten that.
Yeah, it should be in your packet. Okay, now, we need to have a motion to accept the personnel report.
Mr. Vice President, I move that we approve the recommendation that was submitted by our superintendent and that with the exclusion of 39 that's to be removed.
Do we have a second?
Second motion.
Okay, it's been moved and second that we accept the personnel report. Those in favor, let's see by show of hands. Unanimous.
Okay.
Secondly, we have here is consider for approval the 2016-17 proposed school calendar.
I recommend the approval of our 2016-17 school calendar.
Mr. Vice Chair, I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation on the acceptance of the calendar.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation on the public school calendar. Those who are in favor, let's see by show of hands. Unanimous. I have an announcement here to make. If you're here for the county Council PTA meeting has been moved to the PTA office on Union Street. If you're here for the county council PTA meeting. Number 10, we have a motion for adjournment. That tends to take care of all of our business for today, so may we have a motion for adjournment? May we have a motion, Mayor, for adjournment? Well, wait a minute.